I'm Marco of Red Planet Bully Kennel, and welcome to the Red Planet. Alright people, they're finally here. This is what happened. Okay, so I'm noticing that Ivy is acting a little bit different. She's pretty much like relaxing a lot on this day. When I get off work, which is Wednesday. So I get off work on Wednesday, and she's pretty much being lazy. She hasn't eaten as much as I would normally expect her to eat, but she still ate, which made me think that everything might have been okay. I checked the temperature. Temperature was normal. For her, believe it or not, 98 is pretty normal. She's normally in between 98 and 100, so I really didn't think much of it because it's been up and down. So it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have the cameras in the room where she is, and I hear her scratching because I left them on my phone so that I would hear anything that was going on in the room, and I hear her scratching. I look up and okay, so I see her scratching, which made me think that she might be trying to nest. So at that point I went and got some towels and a sheet, and I put it inside, and she stopped scratching so much, and she pretty much sat down and started relaxing. At about 2 o'clock in the morning, roughly, I said I'll take it back. Later on that morning, I got up and I took her out of the cage. So I had her in the cage, out of the cage, in front of the cage, on the floor, on the same rags, on the same towels. And so I went and laid back down, and I continued to watch her on the camera. I didn't want to interrupt the natural process, being that at that time in the morning there was no place I can go to get a C-section. So all I could do is just let her go through it and let her do it the way nature intended for her to do it. So I want to say roughly around 5 or 6 in the morning, I get up and I'm watching on the camera, and she gets up and she turns around, and I can see legs hanging out of her. At this point, I get up and I rush in there, and I pretty much try to get her as comfortable as I can. And we're moving things around and just sticking around with her, and she seems like she's having a hard time with this one. The first one came out naturally. She finally got it out, and it was a girl, and unfortunately it was not alive. We did everything we could. We we put it inside of a towel. We rubbed it, rubbed the back, rubbed the front. Everything that we could possibly have learned from seeing it being done on YouTube, we pretty much tried it. That one also had a cleft lip on the top. I'm not going to roll any pictures or anything like that in of that one. And that was roughly around in between 5:50 and 6:30 around the time that happened. So when it got to be about 8 o'clock, vets were opening up, and the one that we chose to go to was open. So we got in the car and we began to take a ride. Alright, first puppy didn't make it. She passed another puppy. It's been about 2 hours. So we on our way to the vet. Once we got there, I walked in and I explained what was going on. I told him that I have a dog in the car right now that's in labor, and she already passed one that was a breech birth, and it didn't make it. Alright, so they had me sign some papers. I went back and sat in the car with her. No longer than 5 minutes, they came back out and called her. I picked her up, took her inside, and they took her from me, had me sign some more papers, and we went back outside and we waited. We waited for about an hour to 2 hours. I don't know, it might have been 2.5 hours that we were out there waiting, and they finally called my name, and when I came back up, there were 2 puppies in a box. All right, so they had me take the puppies to the car. I took the puppies to the car. I left the puppies with Sandra. She was waiting in the car, and I went back in to pay for the surgery, which was actually pretty a decent price. Like I was able to get the surgery done for about $400 here in Georgia. With that said, we took the two puppies. We got Ivy out. We put her inside of the car, and she was a little bit groggy. I could tell that something wasn't, normal with her or whatever. But they said it was the medication, and eventually it will wear off. So we kept the two puppies warm in the front seat as we began to drive back towards home. I got in contact with Mr. Westbrook and let him know what was going on. I also got in contact with the whelper and let him know what was going on. So next step was getting to the whelper, and that would pretty much be the end of that process. Now, things I want to go over was we did have an appointment for the next day, but you can't predict what day they're going to go into labor, so that didn't work out. So there's no way around, there was no way around it. She had to have the first one on her own. But this is her first one. This is her first, time giving birth, her first litter. I was really hoping for at least 5. And at least one girl. There was one girl. Fortunately, she didn't make it. So something else that if you're going to do this, you got to be prepared for. I mentally prepared myself for it because I was told that the first litters are normally light, and sometimes pups don't make it. So I had the unfortunate hand of that happened to me my first litter, or with Ivy's first litter. And my first litter as far as becoming a breeder. Again, I don't consider myself to be a breeder. I don't actually consider this to be a kennel, but the name is in hopes of what to become. So on the upside of things, Mr. Westbrook did say that we could try it again. So I'm gonna probably let her take a rest on the next heat, and then we'll probably try it again on her third heat. In the process, in between now and then, I might save up some money and buy me another girl. Who knows, But with that said, good night and welcome to the Red Planet.